Hey everyone, Sean Dawson here from Julie Harris Realty, powered by LJ Hooker, with your update for March 2023. Apologies in the delay in getting this out there. We've had a very busy launch to the year as expected, and it's just about getting the work done for our clients first before we have the chance to film these kind of videos. But as always, I'm going to talk about monthly indices and a few other little bits and pieces here and there. Being that we're 2 weeks into the month, I'm sure that a lot of you out there have probably been made aware of these kind of figures already through the various media outlets. I know a lot of this information is getting around quite a bit at the moment, but please indulge me and let me let you know about this information as well. Of course, we're talking about Brisbane as always. And so for the first time in 11 months, and obviously that's in relation to all the interest rate rises that we've had over that period of time, the Brisbane property market as a whole is technically up for the month-on-month stat. Now, that number is very, very negligible as it is. It's only 0.1%, and that's of course the difference between March this year and February this year, but nonetheless the entire market in the greater Brisbane area is up by that 0.1%. Year on year though, still down 8.5%, but that's to be expected. We'll see that for a little bit longer now, I think, but hopefully moving forward we will see incremental increases for the rest of the year. In relation to the housing, so the freehold housing category, the freehold housing breakdown, that segment is up month on month. So February to March this year, 0.1%, and down March this year compared to March last year by 10.4%. And the units market, so of course townhouses, units, anything in the strata complex, is up 0.2%, and up year on year 2%. So that just goes to show you that, you know, with borrowing capacities being considerably eroded for most buyers over the last close to 12 months, a lot of those buyers are instead downgrading to units and townhouses and all that kind of stuff. What I've noticed in the markets that I sell, in the various kind of inner city Brisbane markets, when I'm selling townhouses in particular, they are still very popular. In a lot of those markets, they're up by quite a bit. One thing to note, we always know that Sydney leads the charge in terms of whatever the changes tend to be in Australia, and Sydney's always up by a considerable margin because that's just the market there, but also it's always a couple of months ahead of the curve. And so if you're talking about the Sydney entire market segment, for the month on month, that market is up 1.4% between February and March this year, and down 12.1% year on year. I think that's a very kind of strong indicator of what we could potentially be getting ready to expect for the rest of the year throughout the entire country. In relation to a couple of the markets that I sell in, so I've recently put under contract and sold a couple of different townhouses in the Carindale Views estate on Johnston Street in Carina. Numbers 34 sold earlier in the year for $640,000. And number 35 is currently under contract for a great number as well, to be disclosed once we go unconditional. But that market, so the unit and townhouse market in that suburb in particular, is up year on year 8.5% for a median value of $678,000. Now, in my experience selling in that kind of estate there in particular, demand has always been very strong, just because it's what could now be considered a very good entry point price for a property as close as it is to the city. Now, in good traffic, you're probably 20 minutes from the CBD, but you're also very close to a lot of parklands and some good arterial roads and all that kind of stuff. So in my years selling in that complex in particular, we've always seen very strong interest, and I think Carina reflects a very strong kind of market entry point as it is. And so to be up 8.5% despite all of the market turmoil in the last 12 months, I think is a strong indicator of what you can expect in that particular estate, and probably surrounding equivalent ring estates in the next 12 months as well. On the other hand, Wakeley, now a suburb that I've sold a number of properties in the last 6 months, mostly comprised of larger, very well built, very popular freehold homes. Year on year at the moment, that segment in that suburb, so freehold homes in Wakeley, and that's most of what that suburb is down 12.7%. But it has flattened out for the months of January and February, and I would say once the figures are kind of disclosed, we'll see a similar kind of pattern for March and April as well. But the current median value in Wakeley for freehold homes is 1.07 mil, and I would say because of the kind of general popularity that estate, that the Mossvale on Manly estate in Wakeley in particular has experienced, but also surrounding estates, I think you'll see that Wakeley is one of those suburbs where it will continue. It will probably remain flat for a little while, but then it will start to pick up towards the end of the year. Speaking of a couple of properties we've got coming up, so 30 Hawthorn Street in Coorparoo. Now, I should have this property to market in early May. It is a beautiful 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2-car character home on a large 700 plus square metre block with a swimming pool, significant amount of renovation, but a lot of character retained as well. Hasn't been to the market since the late 80s, and we're pretty confident that it's going to be a very popular home. If you'd like to get a stab at that property before we go to market, you're more than welcome to contact me. I do expect it to be very popular. And then we've got a few other things coming up here and there too. I've got more coming up in Carina. I've got stuff coming up in apartments coming up in Coorparoo. I've got a beautiful house on 1,000 square metres out in Currabee of all places. All of that to be launched probably leading up to the middle of this year. If you'd like to learn more about anything that I've spoken about today, so whether it's the market changes in the various suburbs that we talk about, or if it's about any of the properties that we've got coming up, or if it's about some experiences we've had selling a couple of the properties that we've launched with this year, you're welcome to contact me at any time. You can reach me on 0407 149 757. Thanks, guys.